Hey guys, welcome to Desk Jockey Physio, where we help active desk folks feel and move better. My name is Mitch Starkman. I'm an FCAMP registered physiotherapist and sports medicine clinic owner here in Toronto. Thanks for stopping by. Hey everyone, two quick updates before we jump into today's video. Number one, we have a free giveaway today. If you head over to deskjockeyphysio.com/guide, you can download your 5-step guide of how to set up the perfect laptop home office, which you can do right here, okay? And number two, we are now offering online physiotherapy sessions for you folks out there. To learn more about that, head over to deskjockeyphysio.com/online, and we'll see you there. All right, otherwise, enjoy the video, guys. Thanks for watching. Hey guys, welcome to part 3 of our snapping hip series. So we started way back with our first part 1. If you haven't watched that, make sure you go check that out. Part 1 talks about some rehab drills and how to manage this thing on your own from a rehab standpoint, the exercises to do. Part 2 actually dives into the anatomy, what's going on, what causes it, and kind of what's happening in the hip. And then part 3 today, I want to talk about how do we manage this condition in our day-to-day with gym workouts or kind of throughout our day with this type of thing. So that's what I'm going to go over today. Now, if you do have more questions about this, please feel free to check out our online programs we've created. We've had so many questions about this, we actually went ahead and created these programs with 3 levels, and one is super do-it-yourself, really inexpensive. People are doing great with that one. The other has a bit more one-to-one feedback, and then of course online consults. So check out if those help for you. Great, we're happy to help. Otherwise, please check out videos 1, 2, and 3, and I hope it gets you where you want to go. Have a great day, and I can't wait to see how you do with it. All right, we're talking about managing snapping hip, a huge topic, and a lot of people get snapping in a whole bunch of different positions and movements. Today we're going to talk about the 2 most popular positions I hear this issue happen in. One is the lunge movement that equates to walking, running, doing stairs, this type of a lunge movement where the click happens in the back leg. And number 2 is in a core exercise, right? We're working out the core and we're getting this click or clack happening in the front of the hip when we do that, and how to manage that. So the first we'll talk about is the lunge. So if I'm talking about my lunge and my trail leg is back behind me here, and in this position, or whenever I come down, when I come back up, I get this click, right? I get this click every time in the front of my pelvis bone here. And the question is, what do I do? Well, in terms of how to manage it exercise-wise, you can check out part 1. In terms of the anatomy, you can look at part 2. But for part 3 here, I want to talk about what you can do to clear this up and still load this position. So the first thing, which will carry over to the core exercises, is get yourself into what we call a posterior pelvic tilt. So I'm taking my pelvis position here and I'm rotating it underneath to tuck my pelvis under. So rather than being what we call an anterior pelvic tilt, where I'm going to put this muscle more on bias to snap or click, I'm going to rotate my pelvis back underneath. That's going to almost immediately decrease the click that you feel. Now, if that doesn't fix it alone, the second thing you need to do is shorten up your stride. So rather than being way back here, you shorten up that position and drop, boom, straight down and come back up. Boom, straight down and come back up. Let this knee bend more as you translate down. This will put this muscle on slack and allow you a little less room for click, right? So 2 things there. Number 1 is posterior pelvic tilt. Number 2 is shorten up the stride to change that variance, okay? Moving on to our next piece here, we're talking about core work and how we can manage that. So the most common mechanism we see for this is when people go in to do any type of core exercise like this, and here our lower back becomes arched or elevated up, and then when we go and do a core extension, hike, any of these types of motions, what we see is a click or a snap start to happen in the front of the hip. And it's a problem because that snap can be thicken a tendon over time, it can become painful, and even if it's not painful, we don't want to push into it. So instead what we want to do is be able to maintain that posterior pelvic tilt, flatten the lower back against the ground, and then do our exercises in that position. So meaning, as I flatten my lower back here, I can use my 2 fingers, slide them underneath my lower back and compress my fingers. And from here, I can do my core exercises here, right? I can do these types of movements, anything that I want to do. But the rule is, can I maintain a posterior pelvic tilt first while I do it? If you can't, back it off. So ultimately here, what we're looking at is, can you maintain your posterior pelvic tilt? Yes, no. If you can, great, add a movement. If you can add movement, good, how much can you add? Does it start to click again? Okay, that's too much. Come on back, load a shorter or smaller position. Now, which exercise you do and which one you use is a different story. We talk a little bit about that, like I said, in part 1. If you need a bit more guidance, we have online programs that can help with that, but principally the rules are the same. Can you maintain a posterior pelvic tilt? If you can, the click should decrease or minimize to almost 0. Then build on that and make your exercises more and more challenging as you can maintain and hold that position. And then their click should start to decrease, right? Now, that alone won't fix it. You have to work on the problems that are driving that bust, which is a whole different story, which is why we made some of these programs and why we made these other videos in this series. So I hope that helps, right? Just to quickly review that, there are 2 positions we're talking about today. The lunge, in order to modify your lunge movement, you're gonna go ahead and shorten up your stride, number 1, and or use your posterior pelvic tilt. For your core work, if you're getting on your back, snipping and clacking happening, you're gonna go ahead and do a posterior pelvic tilt while you work on some of these movements or positions and control it from there. If you like this, guys, please go down and smash that like button. That really helps us grow. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Feel and move a little more awesome every day, guys, and move like you mean it. Thanks a lot.